Alright, so in this video, me and my friend run around and do little raids, fight little bosses, do a lot of crazy things, fight a dragon at the end of the video. So if you want to stick around, it'd be very much appreciated. If it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. I really appreciate you being here. Please do me a huge favor, like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. It really helps the channel grow. If you have any questions about the mod in the video, just ask in the comments. I'll let you know. We don't gatekeep around here. But other than that, let's just get straight into the video. The first story. My 28 male fiance, 28 female, wants her dead late husband's parents to walk her down the aisle. Is this weird? Throwaway since my fiance knows my main account. A little backstory. My fiance, who I'll call Jane, have been friends since we were in sophomore year of high school together. During this time, she met a junior, George, who she started seeing, and we all put our friend groups together. Eventually, we all graduated and Jane and George got married soon after. I always had a crush on Jane during our time together, but George was a great man who I still admire, and I knew they would be genuinely happy. Tragically, George passed about 2 years into their marriage, and Jane was heartbroken just having gone through the death of her parents a year back. During this time, she got very close to George's parents, and eventually moved in with them. 2 years passed, and Jane and I started getting closer until our relationship develops into one of true and deep love. We've been together for 4 years. We are now gearing up to be married in a few months, when a few days back, Jane asked me what I thought if George's parents walked her down the aisle. She said that since he passed and she moved in with them, they became like her second set of parents and she wanted to honor them. I was kind of taken aback and didn't know what to say, and I still don't. I get her point of view and I love her with all my heart, but having another man's parents there would be kind of weird. My question is, would it be weird? Should I open up a part of my wedding for his memory and his parents? His parents are really great people who have treated me like family since high school, and I'm still on the fence. I guess I'm asking just so I don't continue to have a knot in my stomach whenever I think about it. She's the love of my life, so this wouldn't be a deal breaker, and I'm not thinking about calling off the wedding at all. Please don't suggest that. Thank you. I just want to be able to look at her in the eyes and say I don't mind without feeling weird about it. Thank you all in advance. My initial thoughts after reading the post, I get where you're saying, where you feel like I wouldn't open up like just something to honor the past husband. I wouldn't do that, but I don't see the biggest deal in them walking down the aisle, especially said since her parents passed, so of course her parents can't be there, and then his parents took her on for 2 years, so by extent that was family. And from your perspective, you admired him and you said his family is great people. So I get you thinking it's a little bit weird at that request, but given the situation, you giving the details and the complexities of a relationship, I would say it's less weird. The request would be strange at first, but given all the context, it's not the weirdest thing in the world because she probably looks at them as her second set of parents. Technically, they were at one point. They took her in, they took care of her, so that's kind of how she views them. She said they're like her second set of parents, so I don't think her request is weird. You feeling a way about it, I wouldn't say it necessarily is a negative thing, but there's other comments that I'm gonna go over that kind of hit the nail on the head. So the first reply is, first of all, if it's her late husband, not her ex-husband, even if she uses that term herself, it's probably smart if you don't, because those are two entirely different categories. Second, her folks are dead, and those people stepped up and took her in, probably like one of their own. They lost their son, which is an unimaginable horror, and did right by making sure his wife remained family. And if they're able and willing to walk her down the aisle while she marries you, then those are some truly amazing people. I can't imagine that strength, to walk her to where their late son stood, and see you there where he was. Hell, if anything, I suggest you guys worry about them, and if it's asking too much. Third, these folks may as well be your new in-laws to some extent. And fourth, you say you admire George and that he was a great man, so consider it a high honor that his wife wants to marry you after he died, and that his parents are willing to participate in the wedding. Fifth, and this is important, and where I can give you the least advice, this man died while they were still married, still in love. There was no breakup, no divorce, he died. I'd start doing some reading, some research, something about what that means for you and for her, because I suspect that George is always going to be with her and with you in some way or another. If you're not comfortable with that, if you can't handle that, then you're going to have problems. But for this, I just consider this as the most tangible stamp of approval you can get that your marriage is good to go and blessed by the parents of the person she married that love her and cared about her and consider you worthy to stand where he stood. Or most of the things from that reply I agree with. Some of them I feel like are a little bit extra. Not going to really go over those, but for the most part, what they said is very valid. A lot of those points are very true. They're always going to be a part of her. They took her in. That's her second set of parents. Another reply is, parents aren't who give birth to you. They're who took care of you when you were at your worst. Like, that is something you're going to need to think about. These people, to some extent, probably might be your new in-laws. Her parents are dead and they still consider her family. So that's something to consider. Ultimately, you're going to make your choice. And I assume if this is old, then the choice has already been made. But I get your hesitation, but given all the context, I wouldn't say it's the weirdest thing in the world at all. The next story. I made my brother's girlfriend cry at dinner, and he thanked me for it. My younger brother Ethan, who's 23, got a new girlfriend, Maya, who's 22, in January after New Year's. He met her at their university in the biology department. She's majoring in marine biology, and he's doing general biology. They've been talking for a while before she asked him out, and they began dating. I've met Maya once or twice briefly since I sometimes get asked by Ethan to get her lunch since my work's close. She's a very shy, sweet girl. Last week on Saturday, we had an end of the week dinner where Ethan invited Maya for the first time. Our family has a tradition where we invite our partners to dinner only if we're serious. Whenever we do, the whole family has to bring a reasonably decent welcome gift for the new member. We did it with my husband and my oldest brother, Isaac's wife. Apparently it started on my father's side. Anyway, after we had dinner and sat on the couch, it was time for gifts. Everyone gave their gifts, and I could tell that she was getting a bit emotional, and I summed it up to her, just not being used to it. My turn came and I gave her a royalish blue scarf I'd made with a hand-embroidered dolphin on the end of it. Maya stared at it for a solid 5 seconds, then began crying, like completely sobbing. I began apologizing as if I did something wrong while my mom got her water and my brother comforted her. After a bit, she calmed down and said it was okay and that I did nothing wrong. But she left a bit early from dinner with Ethan. I was truly so confused on what I did yesterday. I called Ethan and asked what was wrong. He told me her father died 3 years ago from cancer and that he, who was also a marine biologist, the reason why she wanted to become a marine biologist, used to call her Dolly, Dolphin, because it was her favorite animal growing up and still is. And that his favorite color was also, coincidentally, blue. Maya had been depressed ever since his death, and she was so emotional that she ended up crying really bad that night because she loved the scarf. Maya wanted Ethan to tell me that she didn't dislike me or anything of the sort, and Ethan also thanked me because this morning after, she was grinning all day with the scarf, which hadn't happened in the year that I've known her. I feel like not much needs to be said about that story. I thought it was a really nice, wholesome story. You're able to do something nice for her unknowingly. Your brother ended up thanking you. She really appreciated it and reminded her of her dad. And it's just a bunch of coincidental things coming together to just have a happy little ending. So I just wanted to include that in the video. The next story. F autism. I'm tired of people trying to make me feel bad because I don't want to deal with this nightmare of a diagnosis. I straight up admit I absolutely did not effing want a special needs child, which is why I aborted my first pregnancy. There was a chromosomal abnormality. So I noped out really quick. Got just about every damn test you could with the second pregnancy and everything was fine, but nope, autism. All I ever effing wanted was a normal family. Is that so much to ask? My life growing up was walking on eggshells because of my mentally ill father and intellectually disabled sister. Then I was free, only to get dragged back into hell. I'm tired of all the extravagant accommodations and never-ending extra shite that goes into autism. We're supposed to bend over backwards to children who only care about immediate needs and themselves, no matter what the F anyone else's needs are. And then we get blamed for churning out entitled assholes. I'm tired of this broken effing kid. Jesus. I'm tired of this broken effing kid and never-ending heavy burden. While I would never hurt him, I can absolutely see how it breaks some parents and these nightmare kids end up getting thrown off a bridge. I'm not saying I would throw him off a bridge, you drama queens. I'm saying I can understand how parents snap. Edit, like moths to a flame, the autists are in full force to beach about how awful I am. Autism isn't a shield for shite behavior. I'm allowed to be irritated with shite behavior no matter the origin. I'm human. Guess what? You don't live in a vacuum and your caregivers matter too. I'm sorry, not sorry, that the truth of raising an autistic child triggers you so much, but, well, it's not my job to cater to your feelings. Go somewhere else if you hate it so much. I'm so effing over it. Go beach in your 800 other places and let us have one goddamn place. This is exactly why the forum was shut down the first time. Mods get some modding to do if they want this to last. Off the initial reading, it is very easy to be like, this person is a terrible person, but looking at it from the outside in, or not even looking at it from the outside in, but just looking at the whole situation, those kids never asked to be here. No kid has to be here. I'm pretty sure at some point in your life, when you were a kid and you got in trouble, first thing you said, I didn't want to be born. I didn't ask to be born, or something like that. That's everybody. We're all here because two people decided to smash. Either way, with all that being said, I can't imagine being in a situation like that. So with my job, I go around and I see families all the time. And a lot of time I do see families where someone's taking care of a disabled child. And I remember reading one of the stories in one of my past videos where somebody was talking about parenting a child with disabilities and how they do feel like it's a burden. They love their kid to death. They don't wish anything upon their kid and they'll die for their kid. They'll do anything for their kid, but I can imagine it could be exhausting. It's exhausting with a regular kid, so imagine a kid with special needs. If you want to think about it like that, it's amplified. It's the square root of having a kid. It's more is involved. And then even just thinking about even elder care, just caregivers in general, like we just expect them to just bend over backwards. Hey, these people didn't ask to be here. That old person didn't ask for their brain to go missing and now you have to wipe their butt. Caregivers do matter. Their feelings do matter. They're allowed to be frustrated. So I'm not going to sit there and say you're a terrible person or this person is a terrible person for feeling the way she does. She may be brash in the way she speaks about it. She said she wouldn't throw her kid off the bridge, so I don't think she hates her kid. She's just exhausted with the situation. She didn't ask for the situation, just like the kid didn't ask to be there. But yeah, from the outside looking in, it's just so much involved. Like, of course they love their kids, but I can imagine how burnt out and exhausted you could be forever taking care of somebody that potentially is never going to grow up. At least with most cases, from the outside looking in, because I'm not too familiar. I know a lot of people with autism or I've seen kids with autism, but I don't know the ins and outs of it, so I'm not going to pretend I do. But just seeing those people, it just looks exhausting. And the ones that do kind of grow up and be independent, I guess those would be the lucky ones for those parents because at least their kid has some sort of independence. But I imagine there's some points where that kid is with you for the rest of your life. You have to take care of this kid. Like you literally just don't get a break. So you're just exhausted. Going back to the story I brought up earlier where that father was just crying because he was just so exhausted of taking care of special needs kid. But yeah, like I said, some people might jump off the cliff and just say you're an absolute demon that needs to burn in hell and all that, but I say you're allowed to feel that way. Caregivers do matter, their lives do matter, their feelings do matter, but it's just an all around lose. You just gotta roll with the punches. That kid didn't ask to be here. I know you took every test and even got rid of the first one because you felt like it was going to be too much for you. And even growing up the way you did, you have an extra layer of just disdain for it. So I get both angles. I don't think you're a terrible person, but your speech on the matter, your distaste, your disdain, it is a lot. So of course you're going to turn some people off, but it seems like you're okay with it. You don't care. F their feelings. It's not, like you said, it's not your job to care for other people's feelings. I don't know. I feel like this is a very good discussion. I would like to hear people's experiences in the comments or what they think about this scenario or just caregivers in general, special needs kids. What are your thoughts down below? Very curious to read those. The next story. My wife is scared of me. Throwaway account because I'm too ashamed to post on my main account. I was planning to post this on Daddit, but they don't allow fresh accounts to post, so I'm venting to you all instead. This morning my wife told me she's so scared of me yelling at her and our kids every morning that she tells our son, please hurry, I don't want him to yell at me. I feel so ashamed and heartbroken. Obviously I need to make a change. I never thought I would hear her speak that way about me, much less with tears pouring from her eyes sounding like I've been verbally abusing her. I consider myself a gentleman. My family always taught me to speak loudly. This has come up in the past between my wife and I, but never to such a degree. We have 2 kids, 4 and 2 years old. Our 4-year-old son is in transitional kindergarten at an elementary school, and he has to be on time or he's labeled tardy and can face academic repercussions. The 2-year-old is in preschool and can technically get there anytime. Normally I take them to school because my wife often has meetings in the morning. Our daughter is usually dropped off first, then our son. This is mostly logistical due to our daughter making it harder to drop him off, and dropping her off often takes an additional 30 minutes beyond his drop-off time. Occasionally, if both of us are available and we're running late, one will take the 4-year-old and the other the 2-year-old. I admit I raise my voice when we're running late to get them to school. From my perspective, I want everyone in the house to be able to hear me, and for them, I know that it's time to go. I suppose I'm also trying to convey urgency. Our 2-year-old is almost always following instructions and ready to go. Our 4-year-old, on the other hand, is often dragging his feet. He knows he needs to get dressed and brush his teeth when he wakes up, but he'll do everything and anything else, particularly if he has his mommy's attention. He is so attached to her. The school noted his over-attachment in his report card. It was his 1 below average mark in a rather detailed report card. I wake up every morning to make lunch for them and have morning milk warm and ready. Our daughter refuses to let anyone but me get her out of bed and dress her, so the duty is also mine. Additionally, our son wants his clothes laid out for him, which usually also falls to me, although I frequently have to physically move him back to his bedroom to him get dressed. That's how he wrote it. Today my wife was signed up to volunteer in our son's class, so she was planning to take them both at the normal time. Daughter always wakes up early, often while I'm still making lunch. Wife normally sleeps through daughter's morning cries, and I go in when I'm done with lunch or at pause point. Wife came in while I was making lunch and asked if I could get her out of bed and dress. I told her it's not a great time, but I could go in with her and see if daughter would be okay with mommy dressing her. Occasionally works and turned out fine today. I go back and finish packing their lunches and began making breakfast. The trouble starts when our son wakes up. He demands mommy's attention. It keeps her from getting ready to go, and he refuses to let me help with getting his clothes ready. By the time she finally starts her morning routine, it's almost time to go. Unfortunately, I don't realize this until after I saw the time and opened the bathroom door to find him still brushing teeth and her in the shower. I blurt out something like, "You're not done yet? It's time to go." This causes our son to stop brushing and start crying, delaying an already delayed scenario and frustrating my wife. I load the kids' stuff into the car and realize it's probably too late for my wife to be ready in time. So I go in and ask my wife, "Are you going to make it in time?" with the intention to offer to take our daughter so the situation could be less stressful. However, she cuts me off and yells at me that I'm not making things any easier. I should have quieted my voice and finished my offer, but I didn't. Instead, I closed the door and went back to getting breakfast ready for them to go on. Then I got our daughter in the car. She seems oblivious to the situation and is happily eating her breakfast and chatting with me. Our son, on the other hand, is still sitting in the bathroom with mommy and refusing to do anything without her. I picked him up and put him in the car while my wife is dressing. While he's screaming at me, my wife comes outside and yells that she won't be able to make it in time, which causes me to raise my voice again and say that's why I was trying to offer to take them separately. But of course she didn't know that because I never actually said it. Things just got worse from there. We took them separately and they made it to school in time. But when she got home again, she bursted into tears when I tried to speak to her. Then she revealed that she tells our son to hurry because she doesn't want me yelling at her. I apologized profusely and told her the same thing I'm saying here. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm heartbroken that she feels this way, and that apparently the kids are scared of me yelling too. I obviously do my very best to keep this at the forefront of my mind, and if nothing else, try to keep my voice down when speaking to them, but I can't shake the feeling I've created a scar that won't fully heal. I'm in tears now myself and feeling rather devastated. After reading this story, I feel like this has to have been going on for a very long time. For one, the kids to be scared, and two, for the wife to be breaking down in tears and be scared. So much so that she has to tell the kids separately, hey, we need to do this so we're not getting yelled at the end, you did acknowledge that you're in tears over the situation. It's at the forefront of your mind and you really do care and you do want to make that change. But I also want to acknowledge one of the top comments under this post. It says, the way he tells the story is actually pretty scary. Like, according to him, his wife and son are yelling and screaming at any time they say or do anything in the story, but he's just raising his voice and speaking loudly. I don't want to know how he makes them look in real life. Like, I picked that up too. Anytime they were talking, they're yelling or screaming, and then you're raising your voice and being loud. Some people in the comments are saying you kind of wrote this to make yourself be in favor, but again, the ending of the post doesn't really acknowledge that. You realize you're doing something wrong. But again, they're not crying for no reason. They're not scared for no reason. This is something that's been going on for a long time. Even from personal experience, they're stating something is an issue and you're kind of downplaying it or justifying it. Not justifying it, but you're defending it. Because I would feel like if you're justifying, you're saying that you're doing it because it's the right thing to do, which I don't think you're doing. You realize it's wrong, so you're downplaying it from my perspective. Or the overall point is they're not scared for no reason. You gave them a reason to be scared. And as long as you're doing everything you can to, in your own words, put it at the forefront and make the change, then you should be good. They're young enough to, especially if you, moving forward, give them the best life you can and you avoid yelling at them, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be like, hey, at 3 years old, dad was yelling at me all the time. Pretty sure they won't remember that. Like I said, they're young enough to not remember it. Of course, they're living it now, so they're feeling it now. Of course, your wife's always going to remember it because she's an adult. But again, if you make things better moving forward, then she would have nothing to worry about. She wouldn't have that fear anymore. As far as the time period on that, everyone works in their own time period. So that's something I'm learning as well. So that's my advice. Just, acknowledge the wrong like you've done and just move forward better. Because again, they're not scared for no reason. They're not making it up. They're actually feeling something. So do your best. Good luck. If you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I actually love you. In fact, you're really helping me out a lot by, helping me keep retention. Yeah, a lot of these stories are crazy. I really want to hear your thoughts down below. So please comment, let me tell you, or tell me your favorite story, tell me advice, life experiences, if you can relate to any of these stories, and just start a discussion down below. Again, thank you so much for being here. Other than that, I hope you have a great day. That's all I got. Bye.